Well, let's talk about Dynamite here. If you don't like it, too bad. Do your own podcast. Don't tell me how to do my job. So we had Bryan Danielson and 5 Allen Angels. And Bryan Danielson, as promised, kicked his head in and knee-barred him and submitted him. That was the end of Allen Angels. And Hangman Adam Page was doing commentary. They claimed he was replacing Jim Ross, but he was basically just there for the angle. And they've announced that Bryan Danielson and Adam Page is taking place in 2 weeks. Winter is coming. A championship match, free on television for everybody. And they set that up here. And also next week, they did an angle where John Silver is going to be facing Bryan Danielson in John Silver's hometown next week. And he is also going to get his head kicked in. Now, at the end, we are not having the final match here in Adam Page's hometown, nor is the final match taking place in Aberdeen, Washington, Daniel Bryan's hometown. The show is actually taking place in Dallas because it's the home of the Cowboys. And I'd like to interview Tony Khan someday, and I want to ask him, like, how long this has all been planned, because it is quite the deal that there just happens to be a Dark Order member from every city that they're running Rampage and Dynamite in. Seems like there might have been some long-term planning here. We had CM Punk beating Lee Moriarty. When the show started today, I saw blokes in the chat going, "My God, why was CM Punk so blown up?" 'Cause that's the story. They literally had MJF on commentary talking about, why is it taking this guy so long to beat Lee Moriarty? Why is it? I thought this guy was a top star. That's the story. MJF is claiming that CM Punk is supposed to be a big star, but he's struggling to beat everybody. And MJF is threatening to obviously beat him as well. And we don't have a date for their match, but we did have a stare down between CM Punk and Wardlow afterwards, and they gave Wardlow a big win on this show. So it appears that Punk will have to go through Wardlow before he gets to MJF, and that was originally a match scheduled for the last pay-per-view, the Full Gear show, at least according to Tony Khan's clipboard that was photographed on the sidelines of that game.
Can I ask you one question about this segment?
Yes.
What exactly did Britt Baker do to be inserted into this? What sense did that make?
She's been in. CM Punk has mentioned Britt Baker like 3 times in promos since he showed up. He mentioned that Britt Baker was a bigger star than MJF. He mentioned that I forget the other one. There was another one. Anyway, he's mentioned her several times, and so MJF used that in the line that CM Punk is attempting to get into her pants.
I guess. It was weird when Adam Cole comes out, which was a complete, Adam Cole comes out next segment, doesn't say a word about it. He's pissed at Tony because he thinks Tony wants to mac on his girl, and then nothing is said about MJF basically calling her a skank, and then CM Punk basically calling him a skank too by wanting to get into bed with her. It just didn't really, it was kind of was an interesting. There were a couple of interesting things. It was a good show, but there were a couple of glaring things that kind of were like, this didn't work out, I don't think, according to plan.
I don't think that Adam Cole is going to be a heel over the long term. And at some point, he's going to turn babyface. And this is going to be the easiest feud in the world when CM Punk goes heel, which I think he will. Because I don't think he could have Adam Cole defending his girlfriend in the heel role. I would, but I guess you'd have to turn her as well.
But that's the thing.
This will play into something at some point.
Now. They turned her. I don't think they never turned her from being a heel. I mean, that's the crazy part with her is everybody wants to cheer her anyway. Everybody is going to cheer her. She's got a gimmick that makes people cheer her. The chant along with the DMD and all that sort of stuff. So it's inevitable because for both, nobody wants to boo Adam Cole either. It doesn't seem like.
We had Adam Cole doing an entrance. Then he went to do commentary, but then Orange Cassidy came out, and then a brawl broke out, and then they all left.
Yeah, that was one of those glaring things.
It's just a way to set up an angle, but it was very bizarre.
Yeah.
I guess Adam Cole was going to do commentary on this Wardlow match, where Wardlow beat AC Adams, just squashed him. So that's leading, I'm sure, to him and CM Punk. We had the announcement that Phoenix is injured, and apparently he's not injured, so this is some sort of storyline. So on Friday, it is going to be Penta and Pac versus FTR. So that's coming up on Friday. We had Darby Allin and Sting versus the Gun Club, the battle of two undefeated teams. The Gun Club no longer undefeated. Colton Gunn was pinned, so his streak ends. Darby Allin and Sting won. It was a fun match. Crowd was super into it. And this leads to, we'll talk about Taz here in a moment. Had a Jericho interview where he was beaten up backstage. Presumably this was a pre-tape. It was done to keep him off this show and off Rampage because he's currently in the UK doing a Fozzy tour, and so he is not available. Then we had a segment with Taz and his crew and Leo Rush. And I don't have time to go into all of it, but I will just say when it was over, I fully expect Leo Rush and Dante Martin to eliminate all of Team Taz next week in the Diamond Battle Royal.
Hallelujah.
Because that Battle Royal is coming up next week. We had Ruby Soho beating Chris Statlander. A little sloppiness here and there, but overall it was a good match. And Soho won, and she will be going on to face Nyla Rose in the semifinals of the tournament. Rampage Friday, no spoilers. Sammy Guevara versus Tony Nese. FTR versus Death Triangle, this being Pac and Penta. And Jade Cargill will be facing, I forgot her name, but Janai Kai, a student of Thunder Rosa. I don't think I need to tell you what's going to happen in that match if you cannot figure it out already. No spoilers. And then, of course, the main event was Cody and Andrade in a street fight. And the big spot at the end was Brandy came out, and boy, was she hated. And she poured lighter fluid all over a table. They lit it on fire. Cody and Andrade went through the table. Cody's back is on fire. He covers Andrade. Poor Andrade's chest is on fire. It was a disaster. We'll talk about this more on the Brian and Vinny show tonight. But don't play with fire, everybody. And didn't we learn that when we were like 5? Don't play with fire. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
CM Punk versus Garcia. Fast-moving, neckbreaker, leg subhold on... I gotta pee. Pee gets late. This was 10-8-21. Clothesline. Pillman punches back and forth.
How'd Pillman get in this match?
I don't know.
What's happening?
If you enjoy these videos, for just $7.99 per month, you can enjoy full-length editions of The Brian and Vinny Show, Wrestling Observer Live, Figure 4 Daily with Tom Lawler and Lance Storm, the Mad Men Podcast, Speak Now Pro Wrestling with Denise Salcedo, and more, plus hundreds of archived shows, all in beautiful HD. Don't miss out. Join us today.